Hello and welcome back to the Coaches Show here on SportsNetUSA.net. My name is Ryan Osborne. Saturday, it's another big Fullerton College victory by a final of 35-25 over Cerritos. However, a little bit of adversity for the Fullerton Hornets. They ended up being shut out in the second half. I'm being joined by Coach Hughes, running backs coach for Fullerton College. And Coach, you look at how your squad has progressed over these last almost 7 weeks of play. How do you think that your squad has kind of shown improvement from training camp till now?
My squad is in the running backs, or
As in the running back.
yeah. Oh man, they've came a long way. We coming in, we had a bunch of running backs, and it's competition. Causes the players. Some of them fold, some of them rise to the occasion, and a lot of them have risen. And as the weeks gone on, they've learned a lot. They've gotten better about their assignments, learning the plays and what to do, and they've really done a nice job so far.
Well, when you look at your running backs, and I mean, their performance a couple weeks ago, where as a team you guys ran for 375 yards. What was that like to be able to see so many guys on your offensive front be able to get that many yards?
Oh, it was great because, it's like I said, it's a team effort. That game, Ventura, the way they were playing us, they said, all right, we're going to make you run. And they felt that we couldn't run the ball because we are such a passing team. So it was great to come out and show that we could and show the versatility of all of our different running backs, And then the next game after that, they said, hey, we're not going to let you run. We want you to throw. And then, the offense came out and they threw. So, we're team players, and we just try to do what we can to help the team win.
And when you talk about that, I mean, you look at your running back core, how do you make sure that you kind of tailor your coaching to the different individuals you have?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely been one of the biggest challenges this year that I've had, just because we've had so many, me coming in, and there's all these running backs here, and all of them do different things differently. So what you do, just kind of the game plan, you kind of figure out what we do, the situation, who's going to fit better for this player, for this personnel group, and we just kind of go from there.
When you look at two different types of running backs, from Infant Eckford to Lucky Avenger, how do they differ in their running styles?
Oh, Lucky's he's more of just a downhill runner. Like, he's, not real flashy, but he's going to get downhill, get to the hole. Troy brings that to the table as well, but he also brings you a little bit of wiggle, and, he likes to make moves and cuts, and he can get north and south too. So
When you describe your coaching style, what is one type of running back that you are trying to get them to convey week after week?
um, we talk a lot about productivity and being dynamic, and that's really, what we want. Like, you necessarily don't have to be as dynamic if you produce, and that's what it's about, at any level really, is production. And so that's what we look for in terms of the running backs.
As a running backs coach, a lot of people don't realize that running backs, not only do they have to run the football, but they also have to pass protect from time to time. In the college game, you see it a lot more with that running back in the backfield. How do you teach your guys to make sure that they keep up not only on their running game, but also their passing block as well?
Yeah, that can be challenging. Luckily, our kids have kind of bought into, the importance of pass blocking, especially when you on a team that throws the ball so much. So a lot of it is just I try to talk to them. It's a mentality. You have to be a good pass blocker. You want to go to the next level. You got to be able to block. You got to be able to catch. You got to be able to run. You got to be able to do it all. So, we just work on the skills and trying to get better.
And earlier, you and I were talking about transition from high school level into college. How do you think that the talent level differs when you go from a CIF school into all of a sudden you're at the junior college level?
Oh, I mean, it differs. For one, a lot of times these guys that are here, they were all the best players on their high school team. So, you get a mix of all these kids that are all the best players on their team that are trying to get to the next level. And so the talent is unbelievable. I mean, it's, a lot of these guys could used to maybe not having to work as hard or come out to practice every day and give 100% effort because they knew they were the best. When you get to the junior college level and the next level, everybody wants to start. Everybody wants to be the best. So you got to be hungry and you got to work.
And when you talk about working, I mean, we talked to Lucky earlier in the season, a couple weeks ago, and he mentioned that was something that you emphasize, that work ethic, making sure that you're going out there and doing it every practice. How do you show them that work ethic in practice?
Basically, I mean, you got to reward them. You got to, if they have talent and they're working hard, then you got to give them a chance out on the field. And like I told Lucky after the Ventura game, I'm not surprised he had that kind of game because of the way he comes out here and the way he works. And it's not just on the field; it's off the field. Just from getting the weightlifting on time, it's getting to class on time, to doing your work, to all that stuff. All that stuff they got to understand is what's going to separate them from the rest of the pack and make them, a better football player and a better person.
And you talk about off the field. I mean, you yourself, you're an educator. How do you show them an emphasis on also keeping up with studies?
Oh, a lot is just a lot of talking. A lot of talking. It's the opportunity. The better your grades, the more opportunities you're going to have to go to the next level. You get a degree, the more opportunities you have to get a better job, and so forth. So, it's really important, and we talk about it. I try to have one-on-one conversations, especially if they're struggling. But so far, the running backs seem to be doing pretty well in school. So,
Thank you, Coach. Good luck on Saturday.
awesome. Thank you.
So before we go any further, we'd like to thank, our sponsor who has been with us here on SportsNetUSA.net pretty much since the beginning, Miller Toyota of Anaheim. If you're looking for that special car for that special person in your family, maybe it be a coworker or a friend, look no further than Miller Toyota of Anaheim. I speak from experience. My family went there and they took good care of them. With a parts and service department open 7 days a week for anyone's convenience, Miller Toyota of Anaheim truly emphasizes the customer. With a wide variety and selection of new and used vehicles, you can visit them in person at the corner of the 91 and Euclid. Or perhaps you're more technically savvy. You want to go online and check them out online first? You can do that at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Once again, that is MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports high school sports, community college sports, and most of all, education. Once again, that is Miller Toyota of Anaheim. And we welcome you back to that point here on the Coaches Show where we have an opportunity to kind of look at all the different teams that play here on SportsNetUSA.net. And there were 4 of them in play on this last Saturday over the weekend. 3 of them actually on SportsNetUSA.net as they all had home games. And, well, I guess for Golden West, not necessarily a home game as that one was played at OCC. But LA Valley was on the road. Fullerton College was at home. Golden West was technically on the road at Orange Coast College. And finally, East LA was at home as well. So we start off as we travel down to Rancho Cucamonga. That's exactly what LA Valley had to do over the weekend as the LA Valley Monarchs, who were 4-2 entering the weekend and had a little bit of a 2-game winning streak, ended up going down and facing Chaffey in Rancho. Chaffey, who was 5-1, and their only loss was to Riverside City College earlier in the season. And you look at Riverside City College, they're right now ranked number 4 in state. So can you really blame the American Division Chaffey, who has been terrific against pretty much every team that they've been put up against, including top 10 Mount Sac? Well, we look at LA Valley going out to Rancho, and the game started off pretty well for the Monarchs as Chaffey was held to just 1 field goal through the first quarter and 2 minutes of play as Nick Lawson connected on a 30-yard field goal attempt, and that capped off a 34-yard drive for the Chaffey Panthers. Well, the scoring would stop after 10:49 left in the first quarter, and it would resume with 12:52 left in the second, as it would end up being a 47-yard touchdown pass from Caleb Ariola, and it went into the awaiting arms of Javion Lofton Wilson, who finished with 5 receptions and 112 yards on the day, and that 1 touchdown pass, a deep pass from Ariola, and Wilson was able to haul it in to make it 10-0 Chaffey. Well, LA Valley would try and respond, and they'd have a huge play, a 62-yard bomb just about a minute later, a minute 39 exactly, from Patrick Gonzalez down to Cade Cordasco. And Cordasco was able to make that catch. They weren't able to convert on the extra point, but nonetheless, it made it 6 points for LA Valley compared to the 10 for Chaffey. So LA Valley was down by 4 with 8:10 left to go in the second. That's when Nick Lawson got another 28-yard field goal, and it allowed Chaffey to go up by a full score, a full touchdown, 13-6. Well, just about 4 minutes later, LA Valley driving down the field. They were stuck at their own 16-yard line. But all of a sudden, Julius Sebastiano and Patrick Gonzalez guiding the team downfield in just about 3 minutes and 38 seconds. And on 8 plays, Well, it was a bomb once again from Julius Sebastiano down to Jameer Bryson, a 47-yard touchdown pass to tie it up at 13 apiece. Both of these two teams swinging away at one another, and Chaffee just before the half was able to take a lead on the third Nick Lawson field goal in the first half. Lawson connecting from 33 yards out this time to cap off a 4-minute and 15-second drive with 6 seconds left to go in the first half. We opened the second half of play where Kevin Trejo ended up having a 6-yard punt return for a touchdown. That was a little different as LA Valley tried to retreat and punt it away. That ball ended up getting tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it would be brought back by Chaffee for a TD. So with 10:43 left to go in the third, it was 23-13, but LA Valley wasn't done. Terrell Love, who is normally the running back for LA Valley, ends up getting out a pass into the flat, a 3-yard touchdown pass to Nafatalai Finau. And Finau ran it in to make it 23-20 in favor of Chaffee, just a 3-point game. Well, that's when Chaffee went back to Nick Lawson, and he would be a huge factor all afternoon for the Chaffee Panthers, as Nick Lawson finished the entire day with a total of 5 field goal attempts, going 5 for 5. He also kicked 2 extra points for 17 points just to the kicker, Nick Lawson, and he had a long of 45, as that one would prove to be crucial with 2:25 left to go in the third. As Lawson connected and made it 26-20, he would do the same with just 5 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter, making it 29-20. That made it a 2-score game. LA Valley needed at least a touchdown and a field goal to overtake the Chaffee Panthers. Well, LA Valley just 42 seconds later on 2 plays. Terrell Love Jr. had a 7-yard run into the end zone, and Jake Culver would make it a 29-27 match. However, that's where the score would stay, as Chaffee was able to keep LA Valley out of the end zone once again, and they ran out the clock. So the final there between LA Valley and Chaffee, a 29-27 victory for the Chaffee Panthers. They now go up to 6-1 this year, and LA Valley unfortunately drops to 4-3. For LA Valley, well, their defense was actually pretty decent all afternoon, as they only allowed 313 yards total to Chaffee, 225 in the air, and just 88 yards rushing. One of the better teams in the entire state of California is LA Valley, and they have been terrific on defense each of the last 3 years, and especially when it comes to rushing. Over the last 3 years combined, they're number 3 in state in protecting against the run game. Well, on offense, LA Valley kept clicking. They had 2 straight weeks over the past 2 in which they nearly got 600 yards of total offense. Well, they wouldn't quite get to near 600 this week, but 421 is still a great output for the LA Valley offense. 254 yards in the air on 15 of 28 completion rating and 167 yards rushing. Julius Sebastiano led the way with 133 yards. You also have to remember that he had a 61-yard bomb, in addition to a 47-yard touchdown pass as well. He finished with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Patrick Gonzalez went 9 of 18 for 50% and 118 overall, as he had a long of 62 and a touchdown. Terrell Love Jr., who is normally the leading rusher for LA Valley, went 1 of 1 for a 3-yard touchdown pass earlier to Finau. LA Valley to get back into it by 1 score. Speaking of Terrell Love Jr., he finished with 22 attempts on the ground for 108 yards total and an average of 5 yards per carry and a long of 19. He also had a rushing touchdown as well. Cade Cordasco, in addition to Kareem Miles, both led the team in receiving, as Kareem Miles brought in 3 different passes for 84 yards, and Cade Cordasco had himself 1 reception for 62 yards and a touchdown as well. On the other side, Caleb Ariola went 12 of 36 for 33%, 225 yards and a long of 47 with 1 touchdown as well. Artis Seymour led the way rushing-wise, as he just had 42 yards on 10 attempts and a long of 8. That LA Valley defense was clicking on Saturday afternoon. Javion Lofton Wilson had himself 5 receptions for 112 and a 47-yard touchdown. Isaiah Jarrett Bolding also had himself 67 yards and a long of 44. So once again, LA Valley unfortunately will drop to 4-3 as they lose a close one to the Chaffey Panthers by a final score of 29-27. East LA College was at home this last Saturday, and East LA was taking on Long Beach in an interconference matchup, something that would be huge for East LA, as they were 3-3 entering the game and trying to regain that early offense that they had in the first 2 weeks of the season. They were terrific in the first 2 weeks of the year, as they had a 2-1 record in the first 3 weeks of the season. Well, right now, East LA is 3-3 at 500 and trying to get over that mark once again. Well, East LA had to host the Long Beach City College Vikings on Saturday, and they immediately got on the board just 4:47 into the ballgame. A 7-play, 28-yard drive, and Juan Rango was able to knock in a 32-yard field goal attempt to make it East LA 3 and Long Beach City College 0. East LA would get back on the board as Miguel Agüero would have a 25-yard touchdown pass over to Cleo Session Jr., who makes the catch, and that would make it 10-0 as Rango was able to knock in the extra point. Well, East LA would have to watch as Long Beach ends up coming back with 3 straight scoring drives, each one in a different quarter. Long Beach, 5:06 left to go in the second. T-Shawn White had a 46-yard run, and Augustine Delgadillo ended up making it a 10-7 score. Long Beach made it 10-10 as Delgadillo gets back onto the score sheet. 25-yard field goal attempt that capped off a 5-play, 62-yard drive in just a minute and 43 seconds of game time. And they would knock on another field goal attempt with 12:10 left to go in the fourth quarter, as Delgadillo once again, with 2 different field goals on Saturday and an extra point, he made it 13-10 Long Beach. Well, East LA had their backs against the wall. They had just about 10 minutes left to go until the end of the game, and Long Beach up by 3. So what does East LA do? They drive downfield 42 yards on 9 plays and a minute and 24 seconds of game time. Philip Tran was able to get a 19-yard touchdown pass to Tredius Thomas, and Tredius Thomas would make it 17-13. So now East LA is up by 4, and they would make it a total of 7 as Juan Rango got a 37-yard field goal attempt to go in and make it 20-13 the final score. East Los Angeles College comes away with a victory, and they take down the Long Beach City College Vikings by a final of 20-13. You look at East LA, they would bookend the entire game with 10 points in the first and 10 points in the fourth. That was all of their offensive scoring on the afternoon. And for Long Beach City College, they had themselves 7 points in the second, 3 each in the third and fourth. For East LA and Long Beach, they were both equal in first downs, 18 and 18. Total offense for both sides slightly edged towards East LA, as East LA had 371 yards of total offense on 227 yards in the air and 144 on the ground. On the other side, Long Beach City College went 328 of total offense, 127 in the air, and 201 on the ground, averaging 6.1 yards per attempt. Drake Peabody, the quarterback for Long Beach City College, finished 12 of 30 for 127 and a long of 21 with no touchdowns and no interceptions. Only 1 touchdown was scored by Long Beach City College, and it was T-Shawn White, who finished with a terrific day, 16 for 157, an average of nearly 10 yards per carry, and a long of 46 for a touchdown as well. Peabody would factor into the rushing as well, as he had 11 attempts for 21 yards and a long of 13. Miguel Agüero, who is normally the main quarterback for East LA, was also substituted out for Philip Tran and Paul Herrera. For Agüero, he ended up with 17 of 23, just 5 incompletions, actually make it 6 incompletions for 115. He had a touchdown and an interception. Philip Tran goes 6 of 7 for 57 yards and 19 as the long, and it was a touchdown pass. Paul Herrera went 4 of 10 for 55 yards and a long of 44. Rushing-wise, East LA was led by Kanan Chandler, who had 12 attempts on the ground for 114 yards, and again, just like T-Shawn White, nearly 10 yards every time he touched the football, and a long of 65. So East LA comes away with the victory. They now move to 4-3 this season, and they have a chance once again this upcoming Saturday to get up to 2 games over 500 at 5-3. Our next matchup, that is here on SportsNetUSA.net over the weekend. It was the Golden West College Rustlers, who would try and go into the bell game against Orange Coast College to see who really is the king of South Orange County, or I guess not necessarily South Orange County, but more towards the beach Orange County. Golden West College was 2-3 going into that game. Orange Coast College was 1-4. And they would both play at LaBarge Stadium on the campus of Orange Coast College, the former home of Golden West up until a couple years ago when Golden West made the terrific decision of bringing games home on campus. And now they have one of the better views in all of the CCCAA, as when you look down from the press box, you see that brand new field, practice field, and home field for Golden West College. You can see the rest of the campus in addition to seeing some of the Orange County Basin as well. Well, enough about views as we go over to LaBarge Stadium, where Orange Coast College would end up getting on the board first. Neither team had much going for them on their first couple of drives, but Orange Coast does get in the end zone first. A Pete Mitchell 6-yard touchdown run on 12 plays and 73 yards and nearly 5 minutes of game time made it Orange Coast 7 and Golden West 0. It didn't take too long for Golden West to get right back into it. Just 2:34 later, Jonathan Earl would receive a 35-yard pass from Bo Kalbacher, and Kalbacher connects with Earl to make it 7-7 between Golden West and Orange Coast College. Golden West with Jose Orendondo with a 32-yard field goal with 4:46 left to go in the second made it 10-7 in favor of Golden West as they went into the half. This is a rivalry that goes back a long ways between Golden West and Orange Coast College. Well, Orange Coast was trying to get that bell back for the first time in about 3 seasons. Golden West doing their best to make sure that they didn't get that opportunity, as they would have VJ Malo, who saw his entire defensive front force a fumble in the end zone, and Malo would recover it for a touchdown. 17-7, the score was for Golden West with 8:21 left to go in the third, and on the ensuing opportunity, offensive drive for Golden West, 3 plays, 47 yards in 1 minute and 24 seconds. Jeremiah Wright had another touchdown haul-in from Bo Kalbacher, and it was 24-7. Orange Coast would end up finishing off the game with a Max Casper 26-yard field goal attempt. That was good. So 24-10 was the final between Golden West and Orange Coast College. Golden West actually didn't end up winning the first down opportunity against Orange Coast College. Orange Coast finished with 20, Golden West with 15. Third down efficiency for Golden West, they were 4 of 12, and Orange Coast was 8 of 17. 207 yards in the air for Golden West, 69 yards rushing. It wasn't a great day for the entire rushing attack of the Golden West Rustlers. They had just 276 yards of total offense, and Orange Coast countered with just 266, 91 yards in the air, and 175 on the ground. When you look at the turnover totals, it was pretty important for Golden West to go at Orange Coast College and try and get them to force the ball out of their hands. Well, they did exactly that. They had 1 interception for Golden West, not to mention they forced 6 fumbles, 3 of which Golden West was able to recover for takeaways. And one of them came across as the VJ Malo touchdown. Bo Kalbacher, quarterback of the Golden West Rustlers, finished 17 of 29 for 207 yards and a long of 35 with 2 touchdowns as well. Dante Swain led the way rushing-wise with 7 attempts for 28 yards, and this is really where that rushing attack had a lot of problems. Dante Swain with 28, Jawan Roper with 16, Bo Kalbacher, the quarterback, with 16, and Tavon Valdez with 13. As a team, that's not terrific to be able to see all 4 of your rushers, including your quarterback, not able to get to 30 yards rushing in a single day. Pete Mitchell on the other side for Orange Coast College, he went 10 of 26 for under 50%, a total of 91 yards and 1 interception. Dadrian Ellis had 11 attempts for 77 yards, a total pickup average of 7 yards per attempt every time he grabbed that football, and a long of 34. Receiving-wise, that was slightly edged towards the Golden West Rustler sideline. Jonathan Earl, with that touchdown pass from 35 yards out, he had 2 receptions for 63 yards, and Ben Ratzlaff had 3 receptions for 58 yards and no touchdowns. On the other side, Ahmad Lewis with 4 receptions and 40 yards, and Dylan Laurent with 3 receptions and 20 yards to his credit. The final score between Orange Coast College and Golden West, the Bell game. The Bell will stay with the Golden West Rustlers for another consecutive season. We move over to our final team here on SportsNetUSA.net who played on Saturday. And since you've already heard from Coach Marcus Hughes, we'll just kind of overview what Fullerton did on Saturday. Fullerton taking on Cerritos, looking to stay undefeated, not only in conference, but so far overall this year. Fullerton was 6-0 going into Saturday. Cerritos was a total of 3-2 entering this Fullerton College game. Fullerton College put up 21 points in the first quarter, 14 in the second. But you know what they would do in quarters 3 and 4? Well, not really too much. They had themselves 0 points. They were blanked and shut out in that second half. 35 points they put up overall on the day, and all of them coming in the first half. 25 points is what Cerritos would end up putting up as well, and Fullerton comes away with a 10-point victory. Gresh Jensen had himself a nice afternoon as he finished 20 of 33 for 277, a long of 55, a touchdown, and an interception. Quinn Commons, who has gotten more and more playing time as the season has progressed, went 3 of 5 for 63 yards and a long of 31. Isaiah Bravo on the other side for Cerritos was 18 of 39 for 300 yards even. He had 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Ramondre Stevenson, 17 attempts for 114 and a long of 44. And if you listen to the broadcast on Saturday and listen to Mark Pavlovich and Corey Nayland, the voices of Fullerton College football, you hear that Ramondre Stevenson really does have a chance to be special. Stevenson, once again, 114 yards on Saturday, nearly 7 yards per carry. Receiving-wise for the Hornets, Jawan Johnson had himself 70 yards on 5 receptions, and Dennis Houston had 4 haul-ins for 62 and no touchdowns. Jacob Gasser on the other side finished with 6 receptions and 136 with a long of 47, but no touchdown passes to his credit. Fullerton College, who is normally very good whenever they go up against a passing-oriented offense, Fullerton was not able to take away a fumble. They did force 2, and they got themselves 2 interceptions as well and returned them for a total of 35 yards. Fullerton with 27 minutes of possession compared to Cerritos, who had 33 minutes overall. So the final score between Fullerton and Cerritos: Fullerton 35, Cerritos 25, and the Fullerton College Hornets stay undefeated this season at 7-0. Now we're going to go to something that here on SportsNetUSA.net, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier on this season, and SportsNetUSA.net with the RIA rankings here in Southern California. And we start off with this last week. Fullerton stayed at the number 1 spot, and rightfully so, as they are now 7-0. Now, this is a reminder. This is from last Saturday. New polls come out every single Saturday. And if you want to see what the update is here on SportsNetUSA.net, you're going to have to tune in and watch as SportsNetUSA.net continues to unveil their weekly polls in the National and American Division. But as of last Saturday, College of the Canyon stayed at number 2. And they're pretty much going to stay there for the rest of the season unless they take a loss. Riverside City College entering at number 3. Their only loss this season to the Fullerton College Hornets, and just by 1 point at 34-33. Butte, who had a terrific last couple of weeks as they took down multiple top 5 teams in the American, or make it the National Division, well, Butte continues to move their way up, and the Roadrunners are going to have a chance to crack that top 4 after another victory this last Saturday as well, as Butte takes down Feather River by a final of 42-14. Sitting in the number 6 spot is Mount Sac. Now, you have to watch out for Mount Sac and where they're going to drop to this upcoming Saturday, as Mount Sac had a tough time against Palomar. Palomar is a team that is barely cracking into a winning record this year, and they ended up dropping that one to Palomar, 38-35, a 3-point victory to the Comets over the Mount Sac Mounties. The Comets with 14 points in the fourth quarter, and it was enough to give them the victory. So we'll see whether or not Mount Sac is able to stay in the top 10 after a big-time loss in conference. Speaking of losses, another team that ended up taking a loss on Saturday was Southwestern. Now, Southwestern had played terrific in this first half of the season. They played Fullerton College to just one score, 5 points. That's what they played Fullerton College to, and they ended up losing on Saturday by 19 points to Saddleback. And Saddleback has not had one of the best seasons that they have seen in recent memory. Saddleback 39 and Southwestern 20. So Southwestern may just hang on in the top 10. We will see, as City College of San Francisco is ranked number 8, and you can assure that they are going to drop this week, as they finished with a loss to Laney College. And Laney, who did take one loss earlier this season, that came to Butte, but they absolutely demolished the Rams of San Francisco, doubling up on them, 42-21. They took down the San Francisco Rams. There in Laney College, as we said earlier, doubling up on City College of San Francisco. For the American, it's pretty much straightforward. Mount San Jacinto and Reedley at 1 and 2, and then Hartnell and Chaffee at 3 and 4. 5 and 6, Allen Hancock and San Bernardino Valley. All of those top 6 ended up with victories on Saturday afternoon, but Monterey Peninsula, LA Valley, Citrus all came away with losses on Saturday. The only team to not do so was De Anza, as De Anza comes away with a victory over the weekend, and they stay in the SportsNetUSA.net top 10 poll as they continue to play pretty well. They beat Contra Costa by a final of 41-14. Also receiving votes were Cabrillo and Yuba, and for both Cabrillo and Yuba, well, they ended up with victories as well. So Yuba is going to move up, as will Cabrillo as well. Well, that's going to do it for our SportsNetUSA.net rankings. We thank you for joining us here on SportsNetUSA.net. Don't forget that every Saturday, rankings will be unveiled, so you're going to have to watch SportsNetUSA.net and their continual coverage as the leader for community college football. So we want to thank Coach Hughes for joining us here on the Coaches Show this week. Once again, Fullerton College comes away with a victory this last Saturday at home against Cerritos by a final of 35-25. If you want to continue to tune in to Fullerton College football here on SportsNetUSA.net, you can do that every Saturday with Corey Nalen, Mark Pavlovich, the voices of Fullerton College football. I'm Ryan Osborne. You've been watching the Coaches Show here on SportsNetUSA.net.